33 when I started down here. And look, you're here, and I'm here today.
That is a good question, because I don't know how many more 50-year volunteers we will have. But this was what I wanted to do because of the things that you were doing, and I learned so much.
Hello, Guild House. My name is Patrick Plugge. I'm a volunteer here at the Guild House, and I'm fortunate enough to be joined this morning by some other volunteers. We have here Nancy Marble representing the front part of the house. She's on the wait staff currently. Mary Fahsbender, who is one of our head cooks and can talk about what's going on in the kitchen, but probably a whole lot more. And finally, Gloria Hubbell, who handles all the administrative work downstairs in the Guild House. Arrayed before you. We're not going to use the word old. We're going to say experienced and mature. We have over 150 years of volunteer service here at the Guild House. And you guys don't look a day over 30. So Nancy, you have 53 years now. 53, so you've been here for quite a while.
Yes.
When did you start?
So I started about 6 months before this house, the Guild House, actually opened.
Okay.
And we had parties in this house with no carpeting, no floors, bare flooring. Some electricity was working. We were in the process of getting the house ready to open. It was a mess. We had painting, carpeting, electricity, all that had to be done. The kitchen had an original sink in it. It looked like a bathtub. It was, 5 feet long, about that deep. And in the first year, we had to wash all the pots and pans. We didn't put them in a dishwasher. So I remember that because I was called a KitchenAid, and I would do whatever the cooks would tell me to do, run up and down the stairs, whatnot. And we didn't have a kitchen upstairs, so we took all the plates up the back stairs to serve upstairs. The upstairs kitchen was, at that time, a screened porch, and I think it was maybe 2 years later when we finally got that closed in and made a kitchen up there.
So Mary, prior to 1966, when actually the Guild House moved into the current facility, it was a tea room.
Yes.
Over on North Chester.
Right.
You weren't there
No.
at the tea room, but you joined as soon as we moved into the current facility.
I joined in 1968. I remember that I had to wait until January to join because they had no room for me. They had enough volunteers, they didn't need another volunteer, which...
My, how times have changed.
Exactly. I waited until my daughter, my youngest, was in kindergarten, and as soon as she was in kindergarten, then I wanted to be a member here.
Okay.
But not to be, I had to wait until January. I started out as an early aide.
Okay.
And which was the same thing that Nancy did, washing, coring heads of lettuce, and doing miscellaneous things like that.
So
And
at that time, could you just join and be a volunteer, or was it a vetting process, or how did that work?
we had to have a sponsor. I forget who my sponsor was, but I did have a sponsor, and passed with the grade of passing, and that's how we were. Everybody had to have a sponsor in order to join the Guild House.
Interesting. Now, Gloria, when did you join the Guild House?
September 1968.
Okay.
Elsa Williamson was my head cook. 2 years later, I went to a meeting and come home being a head cook for the rest of the year.
That seems to be the way it works here at the Guild
Yes.
House.
Yeah.
That you start with one thing, but you have an opportunity to do a whole variety of other tasks.
Right.
Now, currently, you're working in the administrative end.
I stay down in the basement. I like the basement. I keep tabs on everybody down there.
Quiet down there?
It's quiet down there, and it's nice.
What-
And I get to meet everybody too, because they pass through.
What all do you do downstairs?
Well, I make sure the garbage cans are empty. I make sure there's paper for the printing machines and the supplies for the girls up here at the hostess and the treasurer and all those girls.
Okay.
She's special down there.
You didn't always do that though, right?
No,
What
I was
else did you
I was head cook for 20 years
do? Okay.
Whoa.
and
And you
did
do
that.
it, I mean,
And the day that I had, my day, my cooks rotated. They knew exactly when they came in on their Monday what they had to do. If they had to get a sub, their sub would know what they had to do. My cooks all rotated from baking to cooking to washing to whatever.
How is that now, Mary? It's a little different in there.
Different days do it differently. When I'm a head cook, we tend to have our own specialties that we like to do, and we stay with that. So, it's whatever the day prefers, the head cook prefers, and she's the one who trains them. The head cook is in charge of the whole house. The whole house.
So Nancy, obviously the house is beautiful now. Gorgeous woodwork, Tiffany crystal chandeliers and those sorts of things, but it wasn't always like that. When did the house really start undergoing a restoration? You talked earlier about there being no carpet here or electrical wires hanging out. The plumbing was bad. When did that work start?
well, it happened all in the year 1966. We started in here around March, and we opened in September. I mean, they came in and they did everything. We had so much. Most of the work was volunteered by a lot of the husbands of the women that worked here.
You had husbands doing jobs.
Yeah, we did, and
Hanging
there's a picture
wallpaper
in the,
Well, thank goodness that's changed.
down in there that shows all the guys that were working here. It's down in the meeting room down there.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it was done in orange. It
Orange?
was orange at that time.
Orange and
Orange and brown.
Orange and brown.
green and yellow, and the
Very
uniforms
fall
were the
colors.
same colors.
And we had like captain's chairs.
Yes.
And much smaller tables, remember? And if we wanted to make a long table, we used a piece of plywood and put it on 2 tables to make long. We used a lot of that upstairs for big groups.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we dragged those out. I remember.
See,
Now, Mary, you said.
we just did creative things. So that we didn't hire it done, or we didn't buy something new. We made do with what we could figure out ourselves. Yes.
Whatever it
And we
took.
had a lady that made our centerpieces. Roberta Bishop was the one that made our centerpieces, and they were all just gorgeous.
They were like paper, and they were flowers cut out of a paper plate. But you cannot believe they were just gorgeous with 3 dimension and that type of thing, and they lasted forever.
Now, the house was repainted outside this past winter. And Mary, you talked about a little bit about the house originally when the current Guild House folks moved in. The house was yellow.
The house was yellow, yes. Originally, the house was the color that it is now. But somehow, somewhere, I don't remember when, probably when we had the orange and brown inside, the house was painted yellow outside. And there was also a yellow house on 17th Street at the same corner.
Oh, can't happen.
No, we did not want that. And so I took a razor blade, and Barbara Ford and I took a razor blade outside and peeled down to see what the original colors were. This is it. So the yellow was gone after that painting, and the original color came back.
Okay,
So-
very good. So now, you both have been president at one time, and Mary, you were president a couple of different times.
2 times, yes, 2 times.
When was that?
I don't remember which the years were. The pictures are downstairs, but the years, it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. And I was a house manager 3, 4, or 5 times.
Okay.
That's why I have these necklaces and that type of thing.
Very good.
For my awards that I had.
So you've been president a couple of times, you've been house manager multiple times.
Those are big jobs.
Definitely, because this house has to be maintained.
Right.
Yes.
And you've also been a head cook now for
Yes,
several years.
yes, yes, yes.
Nancy, you've been president.
BC, before computers,
Before computers, okay.
before cell phones,
Okay,
before copy machines.
okay.
We used to have everything sent out to the printers to be printed up. So, you know, that was very different way back then.
I understand.
But I liked being president, but I think I had more fun doing the weddings, which we have here on the weekends. Those were really fun to set up, and so that was what I enjoyed the most.
And now you're just, that's really where you concentrate.
I
now is the
worked
front.
on that, and then, you know, just being the waitress here.
Exactly. And then making Dan, your husband, come down and work
I
as
make
well.
him come down, no, sometimes.
I'm glad we have men that come
Yes,
and help.
yes.
We need you guys.
When
We need
was
you.
the first guy that came here? I don't know. I think
I don't
first
remember.
man to work here, I think, was with his wife, and he was a dishwasher. But one of the first guys to come in.
Another cheerfully voluntold husband.
We've all had them. At least I had mine.
You know, you asked if what exactly the child guidance clinic does, and well, my husband worked there when they first opened at the child guidance clinic. There were only 3 people there, 1 psychologist and 2 social workers and a secretary, I guess. So you can see how it's evolved to today, where they have close to 80 people working at the clinic. But does it do any good? Dan always said, well, he never really knew, but he said later in life, when patients walk up to him, that he hardly remembers some of them, and they said, thank you for what you did, and you helped me get along in my life. So yes, that kind of therapy with those kids really works.
It's important.
Yeah,
It's important.
that's-
We see that in the last couple of years, we've had clients from the clinic come and speak at our annual lunch.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that that's extremely impactful. And it shows every one of the volunteers
That's right.
exactly what they're working for. Now, did the Guild House was really initially started to support
Yes.
the
The
clinic.
clinic,
Yes.
yes.
And that's
The
always
clinic.
been the mission.
Always,
of-
always, yes.
Yes.
Of the Guild House.
So we've already accomplished $2 million
Right.
in our donation amount. We're over that amount. So I think that's quite an accomplishment for a small volunteer situation.
Well, I think that's a good point, too, is that everyone here is a volunteer.
Yes.
The 3 of you have over 150 years of experience, and not a single dollar paid
No.
in salary
No.
to
No.
anybody.
No.
It's all been just a real labor of love.
Yes, yes, yes.
I even come down on weekends and go through the house when nobody's here, just to make sure that everything's fine. This is our house. We take
Yeah,
care of our
You kind
house.
of love it.
Exactly.
You know, it's our place.
It
That's
seems-
right.
Yeah, it seems to me that people love the house, and they love the people that they work with.
And we hope they love the food, because we enjoy cooking it for
Yeah,
them.
Yeah. But we love the community part with the people that we work with.
Mhm.
That's especially important, for me anyway.
We have, what, over 200 volunteers
Right.
now?
And we have all
associated with it.
walks of life, really. It's, and we all get along. That's what's
That's right,
amazing.
Right, right.
You know, we all have ideas and we all just enjoy each other.
That's good.
And it's kind of therapy for us as we're volunteering when we have a low point in our life. We have therapy with our people that we work with. When we have a high point in our life, that's again.
share.
Yeah, you share. Everything is shared.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, but what I wanted to ask each of you here is, what does the Guild House mean to you? How has it impacted your life? And Gloria, we'll start with you.
The kids. I love kids. And I think we've done remarkable by raising money to help kids. And I hope we continue to do that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mary?
I would say the children and also the community part of the membership here that we have as friends and so forth. I've made many, many friends that I never ever would have met had I not been at the Guild House. And they're permanent friends. They're not temporary. They're not here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the main thing.
Right. Nancy?
Well, it's for the community, really. Open our doors, have people come in here, have a good meal, get acquainted with what's going on in this house. What we're doing here, why we're here, keeping things going. Hope we can go on for many more years.
For
Keep it going.
another 50 years.
Another 50 would be really good.
I hope so, I hope
Yeah.
so, I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, there you've heard it. 150 years of volunteerism right now. One of the things that we wanted to express to each of you who's looking at this video is how much we appreciate all the volunteers and all the things that you do here at the house to support the Guild House, which in turn supports the Henrietta Weil Memorial Child Guidance Clinic. So, with that, thank you, ladies.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
day out there.
Thank
Goodbye
you.
now.
Have a good day.
And come for lunch.
Get that in there.